My name is DB, and this is my offering. Welcome to Season 3, Broom Closet Recordings, the season of remembering. Individual journeys meeting to collectively foster divine sparks. Here, direct experiences collide and conjure in shared cauldrons, imagining and creating beyond and behind manufactured illusions and mechanisms designed to control awareness and knowledge. Expand, explore, and experience to ignite the deep, dark, delicious realm of the sacred feminine rising in these times of foggy forgetting. Discern what is for your individual I. Hold and leave what is not for the collective we. Wordwitched with care and craft, may this offering support your journey and the greater good of all. Hey folks. This is another offering for healing healed empaths. And it's something that in my own processing of exploring and expanding what it means to be in this current world, in this current reality, from the place of who I am now. Like 10 years into an intentional healing journey, having survived 2025 with all the stuff in the material world that occurred, my own tangible material world, globally in the material world, as well as the planetary shifts that we're experiencing, the internal spiritual healing and expansion that has occurred. I was sitting and asking my soul, my guides, my ancestors, to help me understand my role at this time. I'm going to share with you what was offered to me. Those of us who know there is no destination to healing, there is just the journey, particularly in a construct that is constantly throwing dis-ease and forgetting at the human. It is a constant process of healing. To be a healed empath is particularly about the healing process for those of us who have experienced real complex wounding, complex trauma, significant experiences with patriarchy and misogyny, with white supremacy and separation, with capitalism and greed. And those things causing real deep wounds that we have intentionally decided to walk the journey of healing them. And it's a constant revisiting. We've healed a lot, and we're also in the process of continuing to heal. I've named this offering Cultivating Courage for the less aware folks in the collective. For much of my professional career, I've done work around helping folks see, explore, release aspects of control that we call white supremacy and patriarchy. About 10 years ago, I started walking away from the way I was doing that work because it was missing something significant, and I needed to have my own experience to figure out what that was. And that's when I went on a healing journey that became a healing spiritual journey. Did not know that's what I was on, but that's what I was on. Now, fast forward 10 years later to this moment, I'm able to see the illusion of the world being given to us from a very different lens when I bring together what I know to be really material experiences of oppression, suppression, and control, and real spiritual aspects of our power within to confront that oppression, suppression, and control. So this piece, Cultivating Courage for the less aware folks, sort of brings those two together and makes an offering around what is happening right now in the collective and what those of us who are on a spiritual path can do to be of service. So without further ado, let's get into it. There's so much coming out our known and unknown senses these days. This is a gentle yet fierce reminder to healing healed empaths as we each daily find our place, our choice, our way in this moment of U.S. collapse and chaos. And even folks that may be listening to this that are not in the United States, given the imperialistic nature and militaristic strength of the United States, other folks are going to feel this as well. So decipher and discern what you want to take from this, even if you're not in the United States. This offering is about the choice as healing healed empaths in this moment to energetically, in magnificently witchy ways, help the collective move a very dense energy currently being experienced, to energetically support the process of discovery that is happening right now for so many, to flow like water, burn like fire, shift like wind, and ground like earth, the myriad of complex emotions falling upon a people who have been trained to block, ignore, and not even know how to process complex emotions. There is a choice available to healing healed empaths, not a choice of guilt or ego, a simple choice to choose or not, a side path within the main journey many of us are on. A choice to support the collective as the collective steps into a shifting reality and expanding awareness. The choice is to energetically cultivate courage. This cultivation of energy, we add to the ethers, the energy of the unseen but fully present, an energy that the collective can utilize to face the light being shown on the illusions cast upon reality by the mechanisms of control we have named patriarchy, white supremacy, and capitalism. This aspect of unseen energy and the power therein will not make sense to the masses, to those who have not chosen for real the soul's journey of healing the matter and spirit of us. And that is okay. We don't need them to understand. We do not choose this to be lauded or affirmed. We choose this because it is one of the reasons our souls chose this moment to be here with Earth now. We know this to be true. We feel its joy truth at root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, brow, and crown. Before I delve deeper into this idea of a shifting reality and expanding awareness, I want to be very clear and direct on a specific point. As healing healed empaths, we are not here to hold other people's processing, pain, or putrefaction. We are not here to hold other people's emotions, experiences, or expectations. You have to discern and decipher what this moment means for your soul's journey. It is my belief that some of us who identify as healing healed empaths are here now to hold the light. To hold the light for remembering, for rage, for release. To remember all the ways we've taught ourselves on our intentional healing spiritual journeys how to process, call out, and move through complex emotions, gaslighting, and manipulation. To rage against the mechanisms of control by what means and in whichever way our individual healing path leans, to witness with sight wide open and senses at the ready. To release all binds and blocks built to bar the flow of our light consciousness, whole matter, and spirit awareness. I choose to visualize the energy of this moment flowing through the water, fire, air, and earth of me so that I can feel the rage, process the grief, and eventually access my sacred masculine energy of external action. This action is always first grounded in my own spiritual integrity, informed by the sacred feminine internally, and not the reactive, imbalanced, toxic energy offered by the construct to feed and fuel more reality deceptions. I practice remembering that I'm aware of what is actually happening and where true power lies. As many people are realizing the truth of actual reality, I choose to use my power within to support the generation and the cultivation of the courage necessary to confront, accept, step into the process that this illumination of the false reality opens up. There are many places for the individual to engage in this moment we are collectively experiencing. I make no suggestion for what others are choosing or can choose to engage as their reaction and or response at this time. What is offered here is a story, a point of view, a consideration, a channeling. As the collective experiences this shifting reality and expanding awareness, many people can only lean into the false reality that is crumbling because they know nothing else. To use the language offered to us by the late Audre Lorde, the Master's tools will never dismantle the Master's house. The Master's tools are the mechanisms of control we have all been born, fed, and grown in for centuries. It takes an intentional healing spiritual path to see, sense, and shift the binds and blocks of patriarchy, white supremacy, and capitalism that live inside each of us, regardless of identification. As healed empaths, we know what it means to hold the light, to see the Master's tools within, and to choose and commit to the daily journey to dismantle their ties in our internal definitions, beliefs, and therefore external behaviors. This is a moment, if we so choose, to use our individual light knowing in service of the collective. In the name of control, a great many lies have been told to a great many people. This is one of those great lies, that the only external action that brings about the desired effect is force, often violent and humanity vacant. In our materially obsessed construct, we are taught to lean into fury forced upon people, place, and planet through words and weapons to create change. For many of us, we have been taught that to rage against the machine, to step into the action of fighting and expressing the rage felt, the only front is that of external engagement, that this is the only righteous, read masculine acceptable, expression. This embedded indoctrination lives in most of us, if not all Western mindsets, a construct-trained way of defining, thinking, and being to only express our desires, our emotions, our feelings, especially those of rage, through imbalanced yang energy exertion. Yes, this is a way, and for some it is their path, and the only way of being they are conscious of. Violence, whether physically, psychologically, religiously, or academically focused, is the way the current constructed reality generates and perpetuates the illusion of who we are and what is possible for humans to create and foster. This is tied to the lie that as humans, we are simply matter. Only the thought-policed mind and the subjugated body has the ability to create, shift, determine reality. The lie of the hierarchy born out of imbalanced yang, masculine energy. The action of balanced yang energy is an incredibly important aspect of this human experience, an energy that is currently only available through intentional commitment to developing internally a deep relationship to its counterbalance, the sacred feminine. Right now, so much of the identities we hold for ourselves, and therefore the reality we imagine, create, and foster, are directed and inflicted through means that are solely logical, rational, linear, mental, and physical. It's the doing aspect of the human being. Here now, it's the doing of it in its most toxic, imbalanced form. It is through this imbalance and over-reliance on the external action-oriented, mind-only based existence that mechanisms of control through patriarchy and misogyny can successfully inflict control over our bodies and identities. It powers over our knowings of our true nature to instill false premises about who humans are and what we're capable of. It is through this imbalance and over-reliance on the external action-oriented, mind-only based existence that mechanisms of control through white supremacy and ideologies of separation can successfully inflict control over notions of self and segmented identities. This occurs by isolating us from each other through false binaries and constructed lies of race, language, and the false concept that land borders are natural states. It is through this imbalance and over-reliance on the external action-oriented, mind-only based existence that mechanisms of control through capitalism, rogue ego, and excessive accumulation can successfully occupy our desire to feel whole. It does this through a barrage of thoughts instilling a never-ending search for material goods to fill the spiritually forgotten self. Everything about this reality is controlled, particularly for those in the West. Here, specifically in the US, this is true in the extreme. While part of the journey to become a healed empath lends itself toward the understanding that everything is an illusion, those not on such a path are mostly quite unaware. Depending on where one's identity falls in the crosshairs of patriarchy, whiteness, and capitalism, infliction experiences of the illusion and belief system vary. A variation that can be brought into the light by examining labels that feed and fuel comfort and ignorance. Comfort allows us to not question the material world, even when the depths of our self may try to awaken. And ignorance supports burying the awareness to even question the false reality foundation on which all lives are situated within most, if not all, Western regimes. Here in the US, many are finding themselves deep in the middle of their individual illusion as it collectively cracks. The illusion has already been cracked and cracking for a great many. For them, this is an I told you so moment. For ease here, I will call these folks the othered identities. The lack of comfort and ignorance available to these constructed, controlled othered identities, such as those individuals who identify as women, queer, anything other than white, particularly black, working class, not academically educated, immigrant of color, etc. For many, the construction of the reality of othered identities has been one of struggle and violence. The I told you so comes from this constructed reality existing for centuries upon centuries. This is a moment of reckoning for all identities, but different for those who can embody the I told you so space. While these othered identities have inklings that something is amiss, that lies are afoot, the power of embedded mechanisms of control within the human psyche has led even these folks to still hold on to the ideas generated through perfection, worthiness, competition, productivity, success, etc. Even as many folks have fought the idea of being othered, without actual shadow work to name traumas, heal wounds, and free the spirit, for many the fight remains focused in the idea of being othered, not in confronting the ideals that supported the othering. By this I mean, many I told you so folks are still stuck in the desire to be liked more, be able to buy more, and be seen as more than something or someone else. And so the definitions, beliefs, and behaviors that run their human programming leans toward an inner voice critic that demands them to be more perfect, more worthy, more competitive, more, in the hopes that they are more accepted. Embedded therein is also that if they can embody that perfection, worthiness, and productivity, they too can live and have the elusive American dream. This is not stated in judgment. This is stated to help continue to crack the illusion, to offer fodder to those who believe themselves to be already in the know, but still seeking to live in the illusion of the dream. US-based mechanisms of control create deeply embedded false realities and beliefs. What is cracking currently is the false truth of that American dream, and that it is for everyone, accessible to everyone. Even those movements created to show this itself was a lie, many if not all, still continue to use mechanisms of control to advance their perspectives. Without even realizing it, the brainwashing of the American dream dwells within the movements meant to move the needle somewhere else. That dream is now shattering. The illusion has no close. The apocalypse has arrived. Apocalypse is of Greek origin and means an uncovering, unveiling, a revelation. That is now. We are in an apocalypse. There is a light being shown. We, those of the healing, healed empath ilk, along with others too, are holding that light. It is not outside of us, and it is not of the material world. It is of our spirit selves. For those connected, we know it is real and it is bright. There is a light being shown to people who were most controlled to believe in the illusion. White folks who believe themselves to be in middle and upper middle incomes, in comfortable houses, jobs, families, the illusion for these folks is cracking. This is a lot for the psyche to hold. Humans, especially Westerners and specifically quote-unquote Americans, have been trained for multiple generations to trust more outside themselves than themselves, to need a leader, to be led, to believe the hero's story is someone else or not needed, because everything is just fine. Really, any belief to stop people from remembering what they seek is themselves. For healing healed empaths on the sacred feminine rising path, for lack of a more astute reference at this time, think of this as our heroine's journey. And along this journey, consider this contemplation. We've been readying ourselves for this moment for years. The self-isolation, the intense peeling back of the illusions that were strangling throat chakras, stifling fiery solar plexus energies, and suffocating sacral creations. It has been a heated process where we've felt out of place and completely overwhelmed with the compassionate confrontation of our shadow parts. A process necessary to release ourselves from the distraction of external mechanisms of control energy. Instead, focus internally and process the pain experienced from the direct wounds inflicted by the mechanisms of patriarchy and misogyny, white supremacy and separation, and capitalism and excessive accumulation of stuff. It feels important to state here. I use the term healing healed empath, and it is meant to hold with loose boundaries and lots of flow the experience of embodiments that are based in direct experience of trauma, deeply seated, S-E-A-T-E-D, and seated, S-E-E-D-E-D, in misogyny-based wounds, whiteness-based wounds, and greed-based wounds. All of these wounds inflicted on embodiments that have chosen an explicit commitment to directly experience the process of moving through the trauma, to name, to process, and to heal the wounds. Healing healed empaths have been on long journeys of exploring the self and our notion of self, often for years, often alone, often with many meaningful nights of the dark goddesses to burn and release the binds hidden in the wounds inflicted. We have taught ourselves, often through multiple non-traditional healing modalities, over many years, how to see, sense, and shift our experiences of the illusion. Healing healed empaths know the art of masking, the art of reading the room, the art of feeling what is real to them, acknowledging it through holding it with reverence and respect, the art of seeing gaslighting miles away, the art of breath, the art of observing the self, the art of stepping away and stepping to. And perhaps the most helpful to the we of this moment, healing healed empaths know the art of being in relationship with our complex emotions without shutting down or kneeling to the mechanisms of control's constant energy to forget, forget, forget. It is from this path, this journey, that we know the power of yin being, the internal, the intuitive, the emotional, the non-rational, the non-linear. The power in this moment to bear witness to what is happening, to move the impact of that witnessing through and out of our psyches and bodies is a gift of energy. if we so choose, that we can give to the collective. A gift of energy to cultivate the courage to keep processing the awakening energy through the collective in these times. Remember, I opened this story by highlighting one of the greatest lies ever told, that the only external action that brings about the desired effect is force, often violent and humanity vacant. In our materially obsessed contract, we are taught to lean into fury, forced upon people, place, and planet through words and weapons to create change. They tell us this and create mechanisms for us to forget the spirit and unseen energy aspect of our reality because they know just how powerful it is. They know that at the core of this unseen, internally driven energy is the sacred feminine. They know they can't bottle it and they can't gatekeep it. They can only lie about it to control our understanding and engagement of it. They know that the sacred feminine is fed and fueled by a fierce divine love. They know that hate is in no way at all more powerful than love. Not construct-based obsession and competitive love, but truly sacred feminine-based oneness love. It has no opponent. They know this, so they bury it. Healing healed empaths, by the very nature of walking the path, are profoundly aware of the power of the unseen and what is possible through the balance holding of the yin and yang, the sacred feminine and sacred masculine energies of the universe. So as healing healed empaths, what we do with this sacred and available to all knowledge is up to each of us individually. I choose the path of being present, processing without judgment my perceptions, accepting my imperfections and my divinity simultaneously. And in this, I fill my own cup daily and let it overflow out and into the collective to support the collective energetically in its imagining, creating, and fostering of the courage necessary to accept and process that the reality known has been an illusion. A constructed deception created because it is the only way to control an otherwise powerfully loving species. The true, divinely sparked human being. Remembering is the path on the journey of returning to the true self. You are not too much or too little. You are an illusion breaker, a space holder for power with, not power over, a light holder with acknowledged shadow elements embodying power within, unapologetically being your magic and your knowings. Return again when you feel the call. I'll be here, remembering, holding space. Same Bruja time, same Bruja channel.